working? Okay, all right. I just moved. If I keep looking to the right, it's because I've got the Hangout on another screen, and I know there's a little bit of a delay from when I change a page from when you see it. So just so I don't run ahead of myself, I'll just make sure that things are kind of keeping up. So again, I'm so delighted to be here. It's really a great opportunity for me to kind of explain a little about local search and how we can help you guys out there. You know, I started Bright Local, now about 6 years ago. We started off as a local search agency in London, in the UK, helping a range of local businesses, from restaurants to hairdressers to kind of builders, establish a local presence. And so I really kind of cut my teeth on the kind of nuts and bolts of local search as it was then. It's obviously evolved and changed quite a little bit, but essentially we realized there weren't really any tools out there to help agencies in our situation. Agencies that were ambitious and wanted to grow. We found that we kept on sort of hitting up against the kind of ceiling of daily chores and tasks, which meant that we couldn't grow because we had to deliver reports, we had to do audits, we had to do all these things that we were doing manually, and there were no tools kind of geared specifically to local. So we set about setting those up, and that's what kind of Bright Local has evolved into. We've got thousands of clients, mainly in the US and also in Canada, but also in Australia and the UK. We've got both small customers, so small either local businesses themselves or small agencies just starting up, right up to much larger customers who run 20, 30,000 locations worth of reports through us each month. So we can kind of cater to a whole spectrum of needs and requirements and scales and sizes, and our service can help you grow and will grow with you as you grow your businesses. But we really are kind of geared towards the agency market. About 95% of our customers classify themselves as search consultants, search agencies, or web developers. So we really only have less than 5% who are kind of local businesses. A question we often get from agencies is if I put my customers into your system, will you go after them? Absolutely not. We started off as an agency. We understand the trust factor involved between agency and client. We're absolutely not here to kind of go after your customers. We're here to become a part of your business, a service that you can lean on, rely on, and make the most use of as you can do. And if you succeed, then we succeed. If your business grows, our business grows. So just want to put aside any fears anyone might have about that. Our business is not to go and cannibalize your business. Your business is our business. So hopefully that gives any kind of reassurance kind of where it's needed. Now what you can see on the screen in front of you now is what we call our kind of admin section, our kind of dashboard. And this is what you get when you create an account on Bright Local. We offer a 30-day free trial to everyone who signs up. In that free trial, you can access essentially all the reports, all the features, the same volume of features as you get to when you pay. So we don't hold stuff back from you. We give you a really genuine experience of what it would be like to be a Bright Local customer during your sort of trial period. We obviously provide support during that trial period. We run workshops every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, where you can get almost one-to-one training from a couple of our in-house trainers. So you can really start to understand how Bright Local works and get the most of it. But having watched all of this, I'm pretty much going to go through what that kind of workshop does. But I want to let you know that we're not just about technology, we're about technology and customer service. And it's about the marrying of those two elements that makes Bright Local kind of what it is and as good as what it is, and why people such as Anne, who've used us for a long time, sort of stay with us, because we try and provide the best support possible as well as the best technology possible, so your job is made easier. So what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through essentially the kind of modular tools that we've got, talk about how they can be used and at what stages, and the kind of data in them. Now, Bright Local is a tool for search professionals. So it's quite heavyweight. It's got a lot of data, a lot of capabilities, but we try to kind of keep the interfaces and the setup as smooth and as easy as possible. And we're always adding new stuff to it. So we release maybe sort of 10, 15 new updates to the service on a kind of almost on a sort of monthly basis. Some of them are quite big, some of them are quite small. Some you'll notice, and some just ensure the system runs smoothly from the sort of back end perspective. But we've got a development team of 10 people. We work very, very hard to ensure the service is as fluid and as fast and as complete as it can be, and we're always investing in it and adding new stuff. So things may change over time as you use it, and I'm sure it has done so for Anne. So the first I'm going to show you is a tool that actually a lot of our customers use for sales. It's called a local SEO checkup. Essentially, it's a local kind of auditing tool. And what it allows you to do is to create reports that look like this. I'm going to find an existing one we've got. I'm in a kind of sort of dummy account here. Let me have a look at this one here. It's called Workshop Test. You see this was created about 18 days ago on the 15th of July. So this is a test report, report that we've kind of got in here. The first thing to point out is you can do things like rerun the reports. You could download a PDF of it, or actually we have these kind of public report options. And these kind of features are the same across all the tools. So I'm not going to show you them each time. I'm just going to show you in this particular tool, and you can imagine, they follow a kind of common thread. If I click on this sort of view public report, what this does is basically takes the same report you've got inside Bright Local, and it presents it on a URL which is local-marketingreports.com. There's no mention of Bright Local there. These can be rebranded with your own logo, your own font colors, etc. And essentially, it's like an online PDF. So you can take this link here, and you could put this into a CRM system you've got, or you can email this out to a client. And what it means is they don't have to kind of go and download a PDF, and nor do you. And that streamlines the kind of sharing of the report information. As you can see here, this one's been kind of recolorized. Probably not the best use of kind of color scheme, but at least it shows the difference from how it looks inside the kind of Bright Local interface. So lots of flexibility for you to kind of white label the reports with your own brand colors. And for those of you out there who maybe you've got 2 or 3 brands, you can create lots of different white label profiles. So you can have one for each brand that you operate under. So going back to the core purpose of this tool, it's really a sales device. So it allows you to run a report that does about 300 checks on a range of factors from on-site SEO, so there's an audit, to off-site SEO, such as analyzing your links, giving a view on your kind of domain authority, through to rank checking, NAP and citations, reviews, social media, Google+. So again, we're all kind of geared towards kind of local things. So things like Google+ and kind of NAP citations. That's what we're about. But we add in a bit of organic stuff, but we really specialize in local because that's our background. That's the gap in the market that we spotted, and that's the kind of sort of market that we cater to. So let me walk you through this typical report and show you what it has. Essentially, at the top, it has a kind of summary analysis, and that presents back scores on different factors. So this is your off-site SEO score. Then you've got your on-site score. You've got search ranking organic, search ranking local, Google+, local directory listings as well. Then you've got more detail on each of these sections. So you've got essentially how many pages does the site you inputted have indexed in Google. That gives you a good indication of whether a site is kind of well optimized and has got good accessibility. Then you've got site authority. You've got a kind of Moz rank and domain authority for your score versus your competitors. Now your competitors are essentially the highest ranked businesses in Google Local for a specific term. So say, for example, you're a plumber in Boston. We go to Google Local, Google Maps, and we look to see who's ranked 1 to 5 for the term plumber in Boston. And then we grab similar data for them and make a comparison. So in this scenario, you can see actually this business is, it's quite well indexed. It's also got a higher score than competitors, but actually a lower domain authority. So there you can already see a sort of sales opportunity to say, hey, you've got a score of 20, but your competitor's got a score of 24. We can take a look at that and dig a little bit into it. Next, you've got kind of link count. You can see, your links versus your competitors. So there's obviously a large competitor in there somewhere. It could be a national brand, for example, like it's Roto-Rooter, that you're kind of competing for in a kind of local space. So you can immediately you're sort of setting that kind of competitive tone for a business, and then for what you can do to improve their visibility online. We don't go into too much data within this. We don't, for example, provide all the links because that can sometimes be real overkill, particularly in a sales doc. What you want to be able to do is present sort of scenarios and then talk through those scenarios and present your skills. So present a situation where a client is not as well optimized as you can be. You've understood that, and you can then present opportunities and ways that you can improve it. So rather than overloading them with too much information, we give a kind of headline view so that you can kind of talk through that without kind of confusing and kind of losing the customers kind of on the journey that you take them on. We then look at things like domain age, kind of hosting location. So that's a kind of your kind of off-site kind of ranking sort of overview. Then we've got a little search engine ranking report. You can put in sort of 5 search terms. We look at Google, Google Maps, Yahoo, Yahoo Local, Bing, and Bing Local. You can set specific search locations. So here we're looking from Chicago, Illinois, and that's we're basically mimicking someone who is located in Chicago, Illinois, when we're kind of grabbing the sort of search rank data. And you can see lots of things here, such as they're really kind of missing out in terms of kind of maps rankings. But they've got some organic rankings, so maybe their local profiles aren't nearly as well optimized as they should be. So immediately you're seeing an opportunity that you can upsell and improve a kind of customer on. But again, it's 5 search terms. We're not overloading you too much. Then we've got an on-site SEO report, and this again provides enough data for you to identify potential issues and talk through your kind of clients or leads through that. So you can do an audit of 100 pages. We then look at things like page titles, meta description, meta keywords, heading tags, a lot of that kind of classic kind of organic factors that you would expect to see in a kind of an on-site kind of audit. But then we start to look a little bit more in-depth things such as, are your reviews using proper kind of schema markup or hreview markup? Any address we find on the site, is that using proper kind of hcard or kind of schema markup as well? So you can see why this has got a kind of a local sort of skew to it. We then provide little explanations of this. So you can kind of walk customers through these tools, explaining what something is and also why it's important to them.
I have a quick question for you, Miles.
Yes, sure.
On the hcard and the schema, will it identify? Does the software scan? Is the software scanning for hcard specifically in the source code, or is it actually looking just for like schema? Can you share a little bit, maybe?
Oh no, it's looking for the specific markup. But if it's a review or an address, obviously specific tags and markup that you use for schema and microformats. That's looking for the presence of your address in the site, and then is that address using the correct markup? So it's looking for the specific tags, not just a general presence of those tags in the page.
Okay, so it's specific to hcard and not necessarily schema. Is that correct?
We're actually adding in schema.org tracking.
Okay.
Okay,
so if hcard's not in the schema code, you're looking at like item prop and things like that, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure it's not just hcard specific, but it's encompassing schema in general.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Thanks.
Then we look at some content link review. So if I look down the bottom here, I've got my primary keyword I put in was plumber. We're looking for whether that keyword is visible on the page, whether this location is visible on the page. You can see these guys have obviously kind of well optimized for those two. Looking whether the kind of keyword is used in the title. I can see that actually only 29 of the 100 pages has got the word plumber in it, and only 43 have got the word Chicago in it. So maybe there's some additional optimization that needs to get done there. It looks at kind of outbound link quantity, internal linking, presence of site maps. Then you've got things like physical address on each page. Yep, they've got an address, but it's not obviously using the correct markup. Yes, it's an address on the Contact Us page, and there's also a kind of Google Map, either link or embed on the Contact Us page. So actually, they're quite well optimized from a local perspective in this regard. But again, it gives you lots of kind of talking opportunities to kind of showcase your knowledge to a customer and talk about the kind of range of services that you can provide. The next section is the local directory listing report. We look at a handful of listings here. We look at the number of listings found, listings claimed, description added, etc. This is all the kind of aggregate view. Then you've got the individual sites down here. And this is where we look at things from, is a listing found, is it claimed, is there a description, photos, etc. And then beneath this, we then go and look actually at what we call kind of content. So, what is the name, address, phone number on these sites? So you can see here that there's some discrepancies in the kind of name usage. There's also discrepancies in the address usage here and also in the phone number. So immediately, as an SEO thinking, great, I've got some citation cleanup work I can do. I know that's going to give my clients a boost once we go ahead and do that because it's an important part of local rankings. We'd already seen from the ranking report further up that actually they were lacking in kind of specific maps rankings. Organically, they were doing much better. So maybe a key thing kind of going wrong for them is the inconsistency in their kind of NAP data that we're seeing here. So you've got both the general data about what's going on, and then you've got specific NAP data in there as well. The next section is kind of Google Plus Local. So this is looking at your brief sort of skim over your profile. So where are you ranked for the search term plumber in Chicago? You're not in the top 50. Are you verified? Yep. Great start. Description added? Yes. The categories used is just plumber, so you might want to build those out. How many photos, reviews, and score you've got? Actually, they're looking pretty good from that perspective. So that would probably immediately flag up to you that maybe kind of review reputation management is not something they need, because actually they're doing pretty well. Looking at their competitors, you can see actually that a lot of their competitors have got a good, healthy number of reviews anyway. So you might not be wanting to kind of spend more time there, but you might want to go and look at other factors that they've got in there as well. Then beneath that, you've got a social media report, and that's looking at looks at kind of use of things like kind of Google plus ones, Facebook likes, Twitter share buttons on your own site, but also whether you've got a Facebook profile, how many likes you've got, any other kind of other accounts you've got, Twitter page. We weren't able to extract information from that at this time. Maybe if I click through here, we might find out what's going on with this particular page. Yes, so at the time we ran the report, we weren't able to kind of gather information. For some reason, it might have been an API issue with Twitter, and sort of Foursquare as well. We didn't find any check-ins. So it's got a sort of social media module to it. If you want to get more in-depth and in detail, you've then got an appendix, which is an appendix for the on-site stuff. And we basically provide a page-by-page kind of breakdown of page title, meta description, meta keywords, and then other discuss such as heading tags, etc. on it. That's more really for any kind of internal or kind of follow-on work you want to do. You probably wouldn't want to present that to a customer because it'll just confuse them more. And you've already got so much to talk through in that initial document anyway that you should have pretty much kind of covered all the bases and impressed them so much with your knowledge, but also particularly how you can go about rectifying the issues that they've got. So I hope that kind of gives you an understanding about how that tool works. Again, it's primarily used for two ways. One is a sort of a pre-sales report. And the great thing about it is it takes about 5 minutes for these things to run. To set up, it's about a minute, 2 minutes. So it's really, really quick and fast. If you're just going to go and gather all this data by hand or kind of manually or cobble it together through other tools, it would take you well over half an hour to 3 hours to put it all together. But using Bright Local, it's 1 minute or 2 minutes of your time, 5 minutes of our processing time, and then you've got the report. It looks great. You can brand it up with your own kind of logo and colors, etc., and then you can share it with the customer. Another quite neat thing about this is if you want to go and customize it a little bit more, you can actually edit this report where you can go in and kind of delete sections, add sections in, which is pretty great. So you can put in a kind of custom introduction into there or a custom little pitch that you want to add in. So that's quite a nice little feature that you can do, specifically with this one for that kind of sales purpose. Before I go on to look at the other tools, I'm sure some of you are wondering, how much customization can I do, to make my reports look like this. So I'm just going to show you that that kind of area of the sort of service first, so you can see that. So in here, in sort of the drop down, you've got things like account details, billing, your clients, etc. Then you've got white label profiles. If I just click on that, this is where you kind of create a white label profile. There's a two-step process. You create a white label profile, and if I click on this one here, what that involves is essentially uploading your logo, adding in some kind of introductory text, selecting various sort of font colors. You see the pretty garish colors that we selected here. And then once you've basically saved that, when you set up a report, you just select the white label profile you want to add. If you just have one, we select it by default for you. So that kind of color scheme, etc., will always be attached to your reports. You can also kind of set up white label email. So down here, your email settings. If I just click on that, that takes me through to essentially sort of second tab along. And here you can choose to use your company logo and font colors in your emails that go out. Typically, so that means you can not only white label the PDF reports or the online reports, you can also white label the emails. Emails get sent out from local-marketingreports.com. So again, no mention of Bright Local, all very kind of generic, but it has your logo and your colors, and you can also put in your own email signature. So quite a lot of customization can be done in terms of the emails that customers get and also the reports they get as well. If you want to get really, really specific, you've got different tabs here where you can put even more specific messages for each of the different services and tools we've got, so you can really, really customize the report headers that customers get. Most customers don't do that. They're happy with the general settings piece.
Yeah, I wanted to just interrupt. You know, my team writes one email, and we don't use the email feature, but we do use the white label piece, and we put the links in so that when we actually do our reports with our clients, they're actually, we just say click on the first email, then we talk through it with them, and it opens up. It's beautiful. And towards the end of this, I'll show you guys the test report that that we did for the Page One Engine site, so that you guys can kind of see how some of those features look, and be, you know, that way you can at least just see it.
Okay, great, Anne. I'd love to think about that as well. Thanks for mentioning that. Okay, great. So, kind of harking back a little bit to what Eric was sort of talking about. He had a kind of checklist of things that you want to have in a kind of local search kind of toolkit. So the next one I'm going to talk about is our citation tracker tool. Personally, I love this tool. This is my favorite tool. This is what I get kind of most of the passion about. And why is that? Because citations can be so frustrating for so many people, because what you do on one site, you've got to go and replicate across so many other sites, and there's you need to kind of get that information kind of clean and locked down in terms of having a consistent NAP in all those sites. By doing it can have such an impact, and because of that, we've really invested so much effort over the last 6 months in building out the capabilities of this tool specifically, because I know for us it's a winner with our customers. They absolutely love it. So we've almost invested 50% of our whole development resource in improving and expanding and building out this tool. So I get excited about it because we've really added a lot of kind of great features to it. One thing I'm probably not going to show you too much about in this demonstration is setting up reports, because actually it's pretty straightforward. I'll quickly show you a kind of create report screen, and again they pretty much follow the same path and the same process each time. You give your report a name, you can schedule how often you want to run, either ad hoc, which is one time, weekly, you pick the day of the week, or monthly, the day of the month. You can assign it to a client you've got in your account, you set the white label profile you want, and then you basically enter the data that we use. Now, key thing to remember is the data you enter is what we use to generate the response in the report you get. So the data that you input, you need to make sure it's accurate and correct. For example, we're looking at citations here, and it's important that you put in the correct business name into here. If you put in a business name with a spelling mistake, that's going to mess things up. If you put in, say, a business name which is actually not actually what the business is called, and say, for example, if you've got a business that's called, John Bethger and Son Plumbing, and you just put in Bethger's, that's going to throw things out, because we're using the name you give us to go and find your citations, to go and find your Google Plus listing, to track down your listings on Facebook and Twitter. So it's really just worth making sure that you get the right information in there. Obviously, town, city name, important, business zip code, select the country that you're in. We just added in New Zealand to Citation Tracker. Otherwise, it's US, UK, Canada, and Australia on most of our other tools. When you enter a phone number, give us it in the right format. So don't just enter a string of numbers. Give us the right format. Because basically, what we do is we take this data and we pass it into Google, or we pass it into Yelp, and we look to identify your profile. The more constructive you can be with us, the better the results you kind of get back out the other end. We do have some logic for taking a number string and breaking it down into the correct format, but it really helps if we get given the right data in the right format in the first place. It just means that our job becomes easier and your reports are more accurate and useful for you. And then obviously you've got some other fields that you can fill in. At the bottom, you can set to receive email alerts. You can enter up to 5 emails to be received there as well. So pretty straightforward. There are kind of tool tips along the way to kind of show you how to do stuff, make it easier for you to understand. All the tools have a very similar sort of look and feel and a similar set of data we ask for. Really good idea is just to set up clients. so that when you come to run a report, you've got all the client data in there, and then everything is auto-populates. So nice. You didn't even have, you enter it once to the client, then it just gets pulled in. And you suddenly take what might be a 3-minute report setup process down to 30 seconds. And again, you save yourself some more time to work with clients, or clock off a little bit earlier and spend some time with the family. That's what we're about. We're about trying to speed up and automate processes so that you can spend time doing the more important stuff, whether it's kind of work or free time. That's kind of, when we look at what new developments we add in, it's like, is this really going to help our customers improve their kind of working processes and do a better job and save them time? Those are the kind of key criteria that we look to tick off. So if I click on to back onto looking at a report, if I pick up this first report here, this is for Artona Group. I'm not familiar with them, so excuse me if I'm not particularly kind of au fait with this particular customer. We have other in-house trainers who use this account as well, so this might be a favorite of theirs. Now, Citation Tracker allows you to do a number of things. Firstly, it allows you on your active citations to see where you're listed on a whole range of sites. And you can see this report has been running for a long, long time, back since 2012. So we've got a lot of build-up of citations. We started back at probably around 105. We're up to nearly kind of 500. So we've been finding new citations. These guys have been building citations, and this is a really great example to show a customer of the work that you've been doing. You kind of show that nice upward curve for them, which is great. And you can see that they've got citations on a whole lot of sites, from sites that you've never heard of. We kind of pull in kind of Google Plus into here. We also look at things like kind of HD Gallery, which might be a kind of local, looks like a kind of local kind of education site. Something called palstock.com. What we do here is essentially we're looking for the presence of either your business name and your zip code on a site, or it's your phone number and your city and town name. And that's how we're kind of triangulating your kind of listings on these sites. Some will be big sites, well-known sites like Yelp, and some are much smaller sites. Like these guys might have got gone in with a local school, and they've got a listing on there. So we'll have a whole spectrum of sites here. And what we use basically kind of Google and Bing to track these down. So looking to see where Google and Bing have got mentions or have basically indexed sites that have got a mention of your business. This is basically great for understanding where you're listed. We provide information such as sort of citation authority, which is the same thing as kind of domain authority that you kind of get from SEO Moz. We look at things like citation value, which is our own scoring that we've got. A lot of smaller sites you won't have that information for. Bigger sites, we should have it for Pinterest. Apologies that we don't there. A lot of smaller sites, we haven't had the chance to kind of go through and review those and kind of give them a sort of citation value. We often look at where sites have got a free or a paid listing. So if you're looking to kind of add yourself to certain sites, you can see which ones offer a free listing. So we've kind of sort of supplemented the data we've got with additional data. So that's your active citations. You've also got a top citations tab here. And what we've done is we've basically identified what we believe are the top 40 or 50 most valuable sites. In the US it's 50, in Canada and other sites it's 40, because once you get past the top 40, the quality of those sites really kind of drops off. So we don't look to kind of list those out. But what I can see in this report is where we've got listings, we've scraped them to get the name, the address, the zip code or the postal code, and then the phone number. And where it's red is where we found inconsistencies. So we were probably looking for something like Artona Group, but we found Artona Group Inc. You can see that they've got quite good consistency on their zip codes and postcodes, and quite good consistency on their phone numbers, but their name seems to be kind of all over the place. We can also see where they've got gaps in their offering. So they're not on Goldbook, they're not on SalesSpider, they're not on Factual and Yahoo. So this immediately creates a good opportunity list for you to go after and go and create and build those citations for them. You can also see things by these little icons here. You've got things like suspected duplicate citations, NAP issues. If I click on that, that opens up a little pop-up, and I can start to see down here where we found suspected duplicate citations I can click out to verify whether that's a valid citation. Yeah, it looks to be valid. Is that different from the main citation we've got? I'll just go and check that. If I check out the kind of URL construct, actually it looks to be the same. It's just a different URL construct that they're using. So what I would do is I'm just going to dismiss that, because actually that's not a genuine duplicate citation. Check out the other next one. Yeah, fine. It appears to be the same one. So actually, that's kind of a clean bill of health. So I'm going to untick that. You can see the duplicate box here becomes unticked. I can hit update, and those settings changes update in my report. So that's great, because I can now use this as my citation management tool, and I can kind of keep a nice clean track of all the sort of citation sites that I'm kind of working on. I can also leave notes on the citation as well. To say, for example, I want to leave a colleague a note that says, hey, we need to update this one, put this top of your priority list. You can set that on there as well. Excuse me, gave it a bit of a dry mouth. You have a quick drink.
And I just also wanted to ask you, while you're taking a quick break there.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ann and I have, being, pretty experienced in the local SEO industry and vetting a lot of the software solutions out there. To my knowledge, there isn't another software tool that works to this level or into this depth. Would you say that this is one of the things that makes this solution unique versus any other softwares or competitors out there?
100%, and that's why we've made this our priority development piece for the last 3 or 4 months. Is because we knew there was a demand for a more complete tool. Some tools do a sort of partial element of this, but nothing will give you both active citations and an NAP audit, and then also give you potential citations at the same time. So potential citations are where we've gone and identified your top competitors. So you've got here A, B, C, D, and E. These are the top ranked guys in Google Plus for your business and location. And so these are sites that they're listed on, but you're not listed on. And so you get everything in here. You get the potential citations that you can go and add yourself to. You get active citation tracking. You get an NAP audit. And also, what is quite cool is you can also use this for things like pending citations. So this is basically a complete citation management solution. So let's say as an example, you've got Yellow Pages here. You can click out to get citation from Yellow Pages. So you go and add yourself there. What you can do is you can look to update this citation here. Oh, hang on, apologies, I clicked on the wrong link. If I click on there, I can update my citation. What I can do is, say for example, I've added myself to it, but it's in a pending state. I can click pending, click confirm, and that then moves this Yellow Pages listing from the potential tab onto the pending tab.
So can I clarify for the group what that means? So a potential citation, because Carolyn's asking, can the citation be created within the system? Did I hear that right? And what you're saying is if you're here in this potential citations tab, you can say, I want to go get to that citation or verify that citation and everything's correct, or create it, right? And then once you've created it, you can update its status to a pending citation, meaning you're waiting for it to be published. Yeah. And then once it's published, will the system automatically re-status it as an active citation, or will you just have to manually go check it and then update it?
If we find, say that you got two here, you got a Yahoo.com and a YellowPages.com. If we find the listing on those sites, we will move it to active. If for some reason it hasn't been indexed yet by Google, but it's there, you can always go and update it yourself by just clicking update and then moving it onto the active tab. So this kind of essentially replaces a lot of kind of Excel, Google Doc work that people might be doing. This is where it's an all singing, all dancing sort of solution. So you can have anything from potential, which are sites that you should be on but you're not, pending, where you're tracking stuff that you've already done, active, where we found you, and obviously the NAP piece to it, and the duplicate piece to it.
Well, I want to clarify too, because I think what she's saying is, let's say, I loved your example, like let's say you're on Yellow Pages, right? This is saying update citation. So if you literally click on that, it will take you to the Yellow Pages. but if you're going to use the same username, etc., you can then log in and fix it right there. You can add what you want to add. I think that's what she's meaning by created in the system, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So from Citation Tracker, we can't automatically create a listing for you on Yellow Pages. We provide a link out to the citation site. Some sites that I'm surprised we don't have one for a direct link into the right page on Yellow Pages. But for example, if I look at Directory Central, we push you straight into the register page there, so you can then go and add that in. Or if I look at for a Sales Spider here, let me push this page. Sales Spider. If I click out to Sales Spider, I go direct to the page to add myself to. We've got about 10,000 sites that we have that information for in the system. Majority of them are US sort of businesses, because that's where the majority of our customers are from, but also for other sites, for Canadian, UK, and Australian as well. We do that. So you have to actually go and add your business to it. You have to do that part yourself, but we let you know, A, where you're missing out, but your competitors are already listed, and B, what's the direct link into the site for you to add your business to it. Does that answer the question, you think?
Yeah, and I just want to add to that, just for those of you who know that I do this, what we do is we do have a Google Doc that we use kind of a single login, etc. So kind of how eRock shows us in the beginning, where we have all of our citation information in one file, so that I have a VA that will click on that just like Miles did, and she has exactly what needs to go in all the way down.
Yeah, one of the things that I want to make sure to emphasize, and I don't know, maybe we'll take a minute to help, because, and I don't know if you guys use this at Bright Local or not, but there's a free solution that we've referenced at the very beginning session called LastPass, where you can create a form profile fill, and basically you set that up, and then basically you could go to that listing and then just pretty much auto-complete with one click the main fields. You might have to do some extra editing for some customization, like business hours, things like that, because of the different user interfaces. But LastPass, number one, is a great way to have standardized form fills, so any VAs or outsourcing you guys are using, that's consistent. And I've actually put in several support tickets in LastPass, so you could create one on your LastPass account and share that form fill profile with your outsourcers. I haven't heard back from them if they're going to do that yet, but just make sure that you get your outsourcers to use some sort of system that doesn't so much rely on then typing stuff in so that you don't get typos. You definitely, if you're not using LastPass, you definitely want to have a document like that Ann's referencing so that they can copy and paste that information to minimize any spelling errors.
Yep, we don't use LastPass. We developed our own sort of in-house, more kind of enterprise level thing, but it basically does the same thing as LastPass. So yeah.
Well, wait a minute. We're gonna have a talk chat. Well, I want to chat with you afterwards about that.
I mean, it's not something that it's something that kind of very very closely dovetails with our sort of back end. So it's not something that could be easily sort of
separated.
Separated. I mean, it hooks into our APIs. Because we have our, we build citations as well. We've got a 50-man citation team, doing 20, 30,000 citations a month. So we need something that operates fast and smoothly for those guys to kind of use.
Very cool.
Yeah, actually, we'd like to kind of build a a nice kind of kind of browser plugin that will be useful for that. It is on our roadmap somewhere, not particularly near the top, I don't believe. Moving on from tracking and monitoring and reporting on citations. Obviously, we're talking there about kind of the citation building and kind of cleanup process. There's obviously many different ways that you can tackle the citation cleanup and build process. There's use of aggregators to do it, or there's kind of manual. Those are the two routes. There are different services out there that can be used. Everything from something like kind of Yext, or just going directly to aggregators or Moz Local. We run a service called Citation Burst, and that basically is a kind of a done-for-you citation service. and we have a team of 50 citation experts who do that. Some of those are kind of submitters, so they'll go to sites and they'll submit you manually to a site, such as they'll log in and create profiles for you on sites like Directory Central, YP.com, SalesSpider, Google, Yahoo, so that's a kind of done-for-you sort of solution. We put a heavy focus on quality, so we have about 15 people in our kind of QA management team. So we've got about 35 people who submit, and then 15 people who manage them, check for quality, check for consistency, and ensure that we kind of deliver at a very high level in terms of the accuracy, consistency, and completeness of kind of campaigns. So we've got a very good process doing that. We do something like 1,000 to 1,500 campaigns a month, and it's around 30,000 to 40,000 citations.
Miles, can I interject something here? I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Would it be cool with you if our students kind of took some of those statistics and were able to share that so they can improve the value proposition of selling to clients? So, for example, let's say someone is wanting to purchase services from David, right, who's hanging out with us today, and David's presenting his solution for local SEO services, and like, well, why should we hire you versus the competition? Well, he could say, for example, well, a part of our solution includes having 15 people that are helpful with our Q&A process just for citations, just to make sure that when we go in and update your directories across the ecosystem, just for that alone, we have a team of 15 people that help do quality assurance on that process. We have resources that literally process 20 to 30,000 of these citations a month, and so this is why we offer our services. We're not the cheapest game in town, but the reason we offer a better value, and it might cost you a little bit more, is because the quality of service is that much higher to account for our labor costs. Is that something that you think ethically that we could leverage in our sales process, or is that something you think, that's probably not the most ethical thing to do?
No. Lots of people do that. Absolutely fine with it. As I said at the start, we like to see ourselves as part of your business, and your success is our success. So, if it helps you to win customers by kind of using those statistics, then go for it. We also do a lot of surveys and research into what's going on in the industry, consumer attitudes to things like reviews, and we produce a lot of stats and data that we're happy for people to go and incorporate into their own sales materials so that they can make a more compelling sell to kind of to potential kind of customers and clients. And absolutely, we see ourselves as a facilitator and a driver of people's businesses. Our brand is only important to you. Our brand is not important to your clients. We don't want your clients to be our kind of direct customers. We'd much rather have a relationship with you, and then you have that relationship with your 10, 15, 20,000 customers if you get to that point. So if we can help you get there by you essentially kind of leveraging us as your kind of back-end team, go for it. I'm delighted.
Yeah, so I want to make sure to emphasize this, guys and girls that are watching this, whether you're live here today or watching this as a recording in the Page One engine product, is that you can now discuss that, hey, part of our program is offering, we have a team of 50 dedicated people that just build citations, and 15 of those people are doing quality assurance control to make sure that all of our clients get super top level premium services. And so you should be leveraging this in your sales process so that you can justify how you're different and better than your competition, as well as being able to charge premium services, because the last thing you want to do is be competing with some guy overseas who's sitting there saying that, I'll tell you a perfect example. We sold a few years ago a package to a business where they were paying around $2,000 a month for all their marketing. We sold them into a $4,000 package, and then once the client came in, we discovered out of that $2,000 for their marketing, they were attributing to a service where they were getting supposed local SEO services for $37 a month. I kid you freaking not, right? So kind of insulting. So just know, everywhere else across the world, in a global economy, a global business system, you're competing with overseas people now as well, and you need to be able to justify why you deserve premium pricing because you're the experts and you have access to the top-end resources in the industry. So I just want to mention that as far as a sales process, because we talked about the challenges of generating revenue for your local SEO or freelancing business. So I want to make sure that you can position yourself better to justify higher investments from your clients. So sorry for the interruption, Miles. Just wanted to make that cogent point. Please continue.
No, that's a great point. I mean, we're also about to develop some additional kind of marketing material that's kind of sort of non-branded. So essentially, material that agencies can take, can incorporate within their own sort of sales materials, put their own logo on, and then essentially go and showcase the kind of tools and engines and work that we do under their own brand. So that stuff will be available probably in a couple of weeks, which should be really useful if we would kind of go and sell this as a service. But with citations, quality is so important. Doing a bad job, going to someone like Fiverr and getting some hack somewhere to kind of go and do it is just kind of fraught with issues. The reason I know this is that when we started out 5 years, we tried pretty much every which way we could do to do citations, and we realized a bit painfully that the only way we could do it and ensure quality is to do it direct to sites, and also have an in-house team that we train, support, maintain, and manage and build technology for them to use, so they can kind of do it. And we've had great results in doing that. It's a laborious process, and it's obviously a pretty big team to manage, but they're kind of well trained. They understand the absolute paramount importance of kind of quality and accuracy above everything else, and we kind of make sure we never sacrifice that. So from a pricing perspective, so this particular service is priced outside of our kind of reporting subscription package. It ranges from $3 per citation submission down to $2 per citation submission if you do it in bulk. We never ever go beyond that, whatever the volume, because it basically eats into the ability for us to maintain that level of kind of quality and overview that we do on all our campaigns. That therefore reduces the quality, that impacts our brands, that stops people coming to us, and it's a bit of a kind of downward spiral from there. So we really kind of stick to our guns because we know how essential quality and accuracy is to doing a good job, for you and also subsequently for your clients. In terms of the way Citation Burst works, we have about 1,600 sites that we submit to. When you come to sort of set up a campaign, what you'll do, and I'll click on the button here just to show you, you basically provide us all the information that you need. Again, if I kind of select a customer, an existing client, that kind of pre-populates a lot of the information that I've got for that particular client. It's important, again, absolutely imperative to make sure the information is correct and complete. So I'm missing some stuff in here, so I might put in a bit of extra information here, contact email, etc. One of the things that we do as a first step is when we get your submission to us, is we check that what you've given to us is the same as what appears on the Google Plus local profile and also on your website. If there are any disparities in there, we come back to you before we start submitting. We just verify it, because the last thing we want to do is go and start submitting stuff, realize that we've got the address wrong, and then have to go and do it all over again. That's frustrating, and we can sometimes charge for that if the error kind of originates at the kind of your end essentially. So we have a team of 2 people who all they do is just check the data is correct before we start submitting it. That's all they do. Again, it's a key step to ensuring that that kind of quality and accuracy is maintained. Also, a big thing that we do is we ask you for your town name and obviously your business category. And of those 1,600 sites, we narrow it down using that information to the sites that we know we can submit you to the applicable and the relevant sites. Because some sites are just for Los Angeles. So if you're in Vancouver, it's not going to work for you. Some sites are specific to builders. So if you're a photographer, again, it's not going to work for you. So we use that to narrow it down. Typically, we end up with around 200, 250 sites of good quality that we can submit you to. And we have a real kind of quality benchmark. Like, we won't go below a domain authority of 20 on any sites. We look at the pages that get indexed by Google to make sure they've got good indexing rates. We look at the types of pages that are indexed. We look to see if they've got bad linking kind of neighborhoods for those sites. So we really do vet each of the sites that we add on a number of different factors to ensure that we don't start submitting you to sites that you really don't want to be submitted on. If I click on this kind of, like, basically jumping a step here, I want to show you what the kind of next step in the process is. For this particular business here, we found 137 sites for them to be listed on. They're already on 46, which gives us 91 new sites to add them to. You can then select the package and the number of citations you want to be added to, and you see the price updates here. You can then go and hand pick the sites that you want to get added to. And you've got all the information here, such as the domain authority, citation value, whether you're already listed, and things like, does it require additional verification for you to go through. So you can really tailor your campaign for what you need. And then when you click and confirm and go through, you can add some submission notes for us. So you can say, guys, when you're doing this, please be careful, because this business has got a second location at this address. Don't touch that one. Or can you go through and look, and I know they've got existing citations in a different name. Can you go and clean those up at the same time? So you can be really specific about what we go and do. So this is really essentially where we work as an extension of your team. You can really give custom directions and instructions to our team, so they know what to do for you. So I would encourage you to give us more information rather than less, so you get us to do the exact job that you want us to do. If I go through the next page, it's just basically checking the information you've got, just to ensure that the information is correct. And by the way, you can add things like, lots of additional information such as descriptions, number of employees, unit formation, a list of services, the working hours, the payment methods, and up to 4 photos for us to submit. So you can actually really create rich, strong local listing profiles there.
So I wanted to ask you a quick question, Miles. I just wanted to verify something. So you're saying that as a part of the citation burst creation listing process, that with no extra charge, if I bought a package of 75 locations, and I wanted to ask you, how many citations do you buy at a time to get the price down from $3 to $2? Is that 75?
No. So let me explain very quickly. If I go to the bottom, you've got 2 options. You've got confirm and pay, and that's when you could pay via PayPal or a credit card. That'll cost you the $3, which you'll kind of see up here. You've got 15 citations, $45. That's US dollars, by the way, for anyone, Canadians or Australians listening in. And then you've got confirm and pay with credits. With credits, you can bulk buy credits. You can buy them in blocks of 500, and that's when you're paying the $2. So you're basically saying, you're probably thinking in your head, you know what, I've got 7 or 8 locations. I know I want to do, somewhere between 50 and 100 sort of citations for those. I'm just going to buy some credits and use those credits across those different campaigns, those different clients and locations. So that's when you get the discount under $2 is by bulk buying those credits. Those credits never run out, so you can use them over 5 years if you really want to. And also you can kind of use them in different batches. So if you're doing 10 citations, you can use them for that. If you're doing 100 citations, you can also use them for that. So they're very flexible and they never expire.
And then one other thing I wanted to make sure. So during the creation process, you're saying if we've done some due diligence on our part and we're able to ascertain that maybe there's 3 listings on a Yellow Pages site or a directory type site, you're saying at no extra cost, our teams of 50 citation builders and 15 QA people and the 2 people to verify for all this address stuff, you're saying for no extra cost that they'll go in and help you to manage the duplicates?
They'll certainly try. I mean, it depends on the type of the site it is. Some sites will require verification to check control of the duplicates. In that scenario, we'll submit a request to the directory and cite to them that there are 3 or 4 profiles that are the same and get them to read them. So yeah, that's part of the service.
Okay, so I just want to kind of give you guys the big picture here. You run a citation tracking analysis. You go through. You use the software to figure out where the trouble spots are. You can do this on an ongoing monthly process. And then if you wanted to get those things fixed, you could do a citation burst. And not only are they going to update or create these listings, but they're going to update and help you to try to manage and mitigate any duplicates. And if those don't work, then obviously there's not a lot you're going to be able to do. You're going to have to wait until maybe aggregator data comes through the ecosystem or they update their results. But basically, to get all this, guys, for $2 to $3, that's just insane. I mean, you could go try to hire a dedicated person to do this, depending on how many clients you got, and there's no way that you're going to be able to make it as cost effective as that. So that's just pretty unbelievable, Miles. Congratulations on being able to do that at such a cost effective way.
I mean, I'll put a little caveat on the duplicate piece. Removing duplicates is a thorny issue. There's some sites where we just can't get it done. So we don't put a guarantee on that we're going to remove them all. We'll definitely try and do it. But because of, imagine all these different, 1,600 sites. They're all run by different companies. They've all got different editorial policies. They've all got different personnel and staff and database systems and data structures. That's why it's a minefield kind of doing citations, because you've got to do everything one time for each individual kind of site that you use. And some sites are very unresponsive. Some sites don't give you tools to remove them. So that's why we say, yeah, we'll give it a go, and we obviously have a lot of knowledge around how to tackle these things on different sites, but we may not be able to get everyone just because at $2 and $3, there's a certain point where we have to throw our hands up and say, guys, we just can't do it. We've gone through the official channels that the sites tell you to do, but we won't say go back every day and check if they've done it, or go back and badger them every day.
Right.
We can't do that.
And that's our job, Miles. I mean, let's be all real here. Like, it's our job to make sure we're running our companies. Miles isn't running your company for you. He's just giving you an incredibly easy tool to make this happen faster for you guys. So if you're, again, watching this live or as a recording, please bear in mind that they're going to make every effort they can to try to get that stuff updated when they go through this one-time process. But ultimately, like he mentioned with all the thorny issues that happen, it's up to you to verify and see if that did get updated, and then beyond that, you're going to have to manage that if it's still a challenge on your own moving forward. But my point is to even include that, where you'll say, hey, we'll try to make an effort to help you guys and submit to these different sites manually, and doing that for $2 to $3, it's amazing, because it would be easy for you to be a more profitable company, Miles, and say, hey, we're just not going to deal with that. I mean, that to me is like that's like a super bonus.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important, and it's only getting to be a more important factor as the understanding and evolution of thinking around citations moves from a quantity view to a quality view. But it is important, and we're always building up our knowledge and understanding of sites processes. So we've got it down to a fairly efficient, streamlined exercise now, because that's our job. That's kind of what we got to do. We kind of tackle these things to a very high degree and a high volume. So we've got some good processes in place for doing that. So great. I reckon I've probably spent enough time talking about citations. One of my pet joys and delights. Any kind of questions about that? We've posted a lot of stuff on our blog around citations, and we've posted some great posts recently, by the way. One is looking at basically top citations for niche industries, and there's something like 46 different industries that we've published on one blog post. So if you're looking, if you secure a plumber client and you want to know the top plumbing directories, check out our blog, because you can find a list of plumbing sites there. You can also download those as a CSV, and you can go and do them yourselves. And similarly, we did a similar post looking at the top 100 cities in the US based on population size, and also looked at the top local citations for each of those cities. So that's all kind of the sort of stuff that we publish on our blog. Really useful resources to essentially shortcut the research process. You guys don't have to kind of go and dig into those yourselves. You can just go and download them from our blog and save yourselves a lot of time.
And also, one other thing I wanted to make sure to communicate too is that my understanding is if you prepay and want to get a bulk package and get the discount down by 33%, and you purchase those credits ahead of time, you're not having to do that per client account. You can divvy all those up across as many clients as you want, correct, Miles?
Absolutely correct.
Kabam!
So for the sake of time, I'm going to jump on to another tool we have called Review Flow. Now, reputation management is an area that we see a lot of our customers kind of growing into and providing more services kind of in this area, because a lot of business owners, they really understand about the importance of reputation. You're all business owners listening in. You understand how important it is to have a reputation for you to win business. Reputation comes from doing a good job and then getting your customers to vouch for you, getting them to, recommend you by word of mouth, or getting them to write a review for you online. You're essentially, exercising that great work you've done for one customer to help win you new customers. And any business owner in the world understands that. Some business owners won't understand about local search or on-site optimization. They all understand about reputation. And that's why I see so many of our customers moving into reputation management or just marketing, or starting to offer that as a core part of their service, because it sells very easily. And anyone can go into Yelp and see that a 3-star rating next to a 4-star rating, who's a customer going to pick? It requires such little explanation to a customer to kind of get them kind of hooked into it. So we offer kind of 2 review-related services. The first one is, or tools rather. The first one is Review Flow, and Review Flow allows you to track and monitor reviews on, I think it's now the top 18 review sites. So if I click here, this shows me the growth in reviews that we've been kind of tracking. I can also see a snapshot of the latest reviews coming through from obviously Google Plus Local, from Yahoo. I can see the dates these are published. Google down there, Yelp. If I then click on to have a look at reviews by site, I can see we haven't got any reviews on City Search. We've got 45 reviews on Google Plus Local. I can see Yahoo Local, we've got 68 reviews. Yellow Pages, 95 reviews. Yelp, sort of 67 reviews. I can then click on here to actually see the review content itself. So if I'm looking down here, I can see the latest review was the 5th of June on Yelp. I can see the score here. I can see that we've got a 3.5-star rating there. And I want to be wondering, which of these reviews should be responding to. I can see actually in the last few months, the reviews have all been pretty good. So I should probably go back quite a long way to see the first kind of negative reviews. We're looking at like November, 2014. Now, had this business or you been using Review Flow at that point, that review would have been flagged to you on a daily or a weekly basis, depending on how often you run your reports. And so you can immediately go and do something about that. You can go and respond to the review. You can start to manage the situation from a very kind of negative sort of public situation. I mean, if I'm looking at this site here, what I'm seeing is that these 2 reviews are very close together, which looks a little bit suspicious to me, because it's odd and strange to kind of get that many negative reviews close to hand. So there could be some review spam kind of going on there amongst these particular reviewers. But again, this basically is like an early warning system for problems that you've got in your kind of reputation. You can also look at reviews by rating. So again, you can see you can see all your 5-star reviews, which you've got lots of. You can look at 4-star reviews, and then you can click on the 1-star reviews and see the problem ones that you've got there. You can see that you had a lot of 1-star reviews on kind of Google Plus. A lot of these are probably going back a fair amount in time. But then you can immediately notice if you get any new kind of low-star reviews coming through, you can jump on those and you can try and manage the situation to the best of your ability. Without having a tool that tracks this, obviously you're kind of operating in the darkness. You don't have a kind of complete view of your kind of reputation online. And by having a tool like this, where we essentially kind of collate reviews from all over the web, and I think we're displaying what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think 14 sites here. We added in TripAdvisor, we added in Facebook just a couple of weeks ago. This report hasn't been updated. It needs to be edited. This basically allows you to not have to monitor Yahoo and Yellow Pages and Yelp and Google Plus sort of one by one independently. You just set up a report like Review Flow, and it sucks in all that kind of review and rating and kind of content into kind of one report. So you just have to look in one place, and then you can get an email alert set up, so you can very quickly see whether you've got any new reviews, and if you do, what rating they've got on them. So again, a huge time saver. Obviously, you can present this report back out to customers. So if you're doing a good job of managing their reviews, you can kind of show them the work and the effort that you've put in. If you're going to pitch to a customer and you specifically sell reputation management, you can take this into them and you can show them where they've got a problem with their kind of online reputation. Again, really, really valuable stuff to demonstrate the need for a local business to have someone like you working for them, managing their kind of online reputation and their sort of local search optimization. We've got also plans to build out the functionality in here, so we're going to start adding in some niche review sites, so particular industry sites. We're probably going to pick off the top 10 industries and pick 1 or 2 sites in each industry, probably starting off with the kind of legal, medical industries, maybe look at kind of car dealerships, realtors, things like that. So you can, as well as having the big general sites like Google+, you can also be kind of industry specific in terms of what you track as well. So again, a hugely valuable report and a huge time saver by having all this data in one place rather than in 10, 15, 16 different sites where you've got to stay on top of your reputation.
Are you able to add things that you want Bright Local to track, like review sites?
We can't do that because, again, each site is different. We have to understand the logic of each site to be able to extract the reviews. So, for example, we have to understand how Google presents reviews, how Yelp presents reviews. And if you know by looking at Google Plus profile, you have to click on a button to view more reviews. We've got to kind of understand the logic of doing that. You can submit a request to our support team to have it in there, and yeah, we can certainly kind of go and look at that and kind of gauge what probably the demand is across our other customers based on the industry. But we're looking at we actually already track a number of sites that we're not presenting yet because they're niche sites, and we just need to carve out how we sort of present those in the review flow tool itself. Hope that answers your question, man. And then we've got some. I think we're going to be doing a lot of investment in this tool kind of coming up to add in some other additional features I wanted to for a while. For example, we obviously suck in all the reviews, content from the review sites. What would be great is if you're able to essentially take those reviews out as a widget and put them into your client site. So you would say, I want reviews from Google, Yelp, Pages. I want everything that's more than 4 stars, and I want everything since the start of 2015. And then you get it in the code that you can just slot into the customer site that pushes that review content out for you. So you can essentially aggregate that review content into a feed or into like a JavaScript widget that you can then use on the customer site. That's a nice enhancement that we're going to be adding in to review flow.
Question.
Yeah.
With the solution that you have, will you be able to code it in such a way that it would be able to create aggregate review schema so that that could show up in the SERPs?
Yeah, we could try doing that. I mean, it's a bit of a gray. I won't probably get into it in detail, but that presentation of third-party reviews on your own site, some people see that as something that's not positive because it gets indexed. You can see the duplicate content. Which is why when we do it, we'll have 2 options. We'll have a JavaScript solution as well as a kind of direct sort of RSS sort of feed. But yeah, we can look at the ability to kind of aggregate ratings and reviews. We haven't nailed down the features of that yet, but I'll bear in mind.
Well, and I'd like to share a little secret that I use the review flow widget for. At the very bottom, you're allowed to almost say like powered by, and so what I write on ours is I say best SEO agency results for Primazon.com, and I don't put the link there. I just put a little highlight that goes to my actual agency in the bottom of the widget.
Yeah. So what else about that is the review bid? It's just a solution to review flow. And essentially what this is a review generation badge. So if I click on this little button here, we'll see an example of that. This is what ReviewBiz looks like. It's a little badge to the site. If I hover over it, it scrolls down, and then you've got links to kind of Google+, WebLocal, and also Facebook and Twitter. And underneath, you've got a thing that says Search Engine Optimization by BrightLocal.com. Now that's what Anne white labels for her own business. And you can kind of create these and you can position them on customers' sites. It's great for them because they've got links directly through to places they want to get reviews from. You also don't have to go and grab the links manually and build this. We do it all for you, and we basically kind of badge it up into a little badge. So you just get a bit of code like this. That's all you have to do is take that code, stick it on the site, and you get this badge. But then the great thing about it is you can put your own little sort of sales message at the bottom of it. So as well as it being good for your customers, it's also good for you. You can also embed a backlink into this. You can actually build backlinks using this at the same time. So that's a nice little tool that a lot of agencies take advantage of. And if you're on our higher package, you get 1,000 of these badges. So you get 1,000 of these that you could create. So this is a great bit of sort of PR promotion for your own business, as much as it is a useful tool to help your customers. The setup of that,
so
again,
so that's 1,000 badges, so one for each website, not for pages, right? Pages of sites.
Yes, no, you do it on a client level. I mean, we do have some customers that are multi-location businesses that have like 400 locations. They've each got one. It can work on that basis. Because again, it's location specific. You know, you want to link through to the right Google Plus page.
Right.
So, but you can do it both ways. Either one across all sites, if it's like a one location business, or you've got different landing pages for different locations. You can create one per location.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it's a time saver because we go out to lots of different sites and gather them. And actually, Anne, you asked a second ago, can we add in our own directories? You can on ReviewBiz. You can actually add in custom directories here to that one because we don't have to kind of have the same level of understanding about those sites as we do when we're actually grabbing the review information from them. I think the last one I was going to run you through, it's probably actually the most straightforward to those of you who kind of operate in the search world. It's our rank checker tool. Like other rank checkers, it checks where your client or location is ranked in various search engines. Obviously, it operates on a search term basis. So if I just click on the button here, you can, and I just scroll down, again, you can load in your search terms. Depending on the package, you can track up to 100 search terms. You can also track different URLs. You can currently track up to 3 URLs. So maybe the customer's got 2 sites, or maybe you want to track a Facebook profile, or maybe you want to track a kind of subdomain as well as the main domain. You can enter up to 3 URLs there. You can select the country you want, and when you do that, you can select the search location. So this is where you can mimic where a search is from. So if you've got a client who operates in the Chicago area, or even a zip code or a suburb of Chicago, you could enter that here. And when we do our search lookups, we're essentially looking as if we're based in that particular zip code, suburb, or city or town. So very nice and kind of customizable. Really gives that real true local picture for how a business is ranking. You can track Google Maps, Google, Yahoo Local, Bing, and Bing Local. You can also do some other kind of nice stuff as well, where you can track competitors. So you can track one competitor for free, or with a little bit of extra money, you can track up to 4 competitors. You can also do name tracking. So most ranking tools will track on a URL. We can also track based on a business name, a couple of the zip code, and a phone number. So we've got our things like citations. That citation will obviously appear on Yelp. That's not your website. So if you just track on a URL, you won't see any visibility for things like Yelp results in Google. But if you enter your business name and your phone number, we can start to track how your citations are gaining visibility in Google. Let me show you how that looks in a typical report. And this is a tool which is, I think, entirely unique to Bright Local as far as I'm aware. If I look at this report here, if I look at the data table, what I'm seeing is that, say for the term plumber, and it's just plumber, but I put the search location as Chicago, Illinois. So I'm actually, again, looking as if this is a potential customer base in Chicago. I can see they're in Google. It's a local result, so it's a match result. They're in position 4, and that's position A in the local pack. I've also got a separate column for Google Maps, so I can see how they're ranking in Google Maps as well as in Google. If I scroll down, where's a good example? Okay, so if I search term plumber and their zip code, I can see that I've got a local result ranking in position 2, so that's a Google Maps, Google local result. I've also got my own website ranking in position 6, but down in position 11, I can see that there's a listing on Angie's list where my business is mentioned. So as well as having my own local results and organic results, I've also got my third-party results in there. Also down in position 12, I've got someone else in there as well. We're not showing that one specifically. Position 21, I can see I'm ranked down there as well. Position 38, I've got a listing on bbb.org. So here you're showing the full spectrum of visibility in Google. It's not just defined by where your website is ranking. It's your website, it's your local profile, and it's also your citation profiles. Down here, for a branded term like John Bethel Son Plumbing, these guys dominate, which as you'd expect. But this gives you the visibility of that. You've got a local result, you've got an organic result, then you've got a Yelp result, then you've got a BBB, and use list, Yahoo, Yellow Pages. You've got a really clear picture of where they're ranking. And if you've gone out and built those citations on those sites, hey, that gives you a huge amount of kudos because you're the one that developed those profiles. You can see that Google has not only indexed them, but it's starting to rank them, so you can really start to dominate that kind of first page of Google by having those additional profiles. So we give a much wider view of your ranking to a customer. You could then look at search term tracker charts and see over time how things are tracking for a particular customer. And if I turn off here, you can see you've kind of nestled in behind these ones. You've got Yahoo as well as kind of Google. And then you can also see in our aggregate ranking chart a view for your whole campaign. So this is basically taking all your search terms and seeing how many position ones you've got, how many position 2 to 5, how many 6 to 10, etc. So you can be very specific at a search term level through the tracker chart, or you can look at as an aggregate view for the whole campaign using the aggregate ranking chart. And then you can also look at competitors as well. You can see how Bethesda & Son is stacked up against Power Plumbing and Sewer Contractor, and you can see they're generally looking pretty good in terms of outranking these guys. Okay, I think that probably kind of covers off the main elements of that tool. I've gone on for a long time. I know there's a lot to take on board, but the last thing I'll probably say is that it's a very powerful tool set. You could do pretty much everything you want in it. We're always adding kind of new features and updates and enhancements to it. Some good stuff that we've got coming down the pipe is, at the moment, you've got a ranking report and a citation report, a Google Plus report and reviews. We're going to bring that all together in a kind of location dashboard. So you've got to have a location dashboard that pulls all this together, gives you kind of summary snapshot of what's going on in each of those kind of modules, and then allows you to dig a bit deeper, so that when you're doing that, you can get a real kind of holistic sense of how a client is doing overall, but also you can then present that to them, so it's nice, easy for them to see their ranking data alongside their review data, and they can also get a sense of how they're doing. So that's what our team is kind of working on at the moment, as well as adding in additional new features into the tools themselves.
So question on that. With the dashboard, basically you're looking at like a performance dashboard, and will that be based on like a portal, like where we can log in and get private access? Obviously we're not going to make that public. Is that something you plan on just making that only the agencies can log in and like screen share with that the client, or as an option would the agency be able to create an account that the client could log into basically 24/7 to check in on everything?
It'll be a two-step process. So initially, we'll create it as a dashboard for agencies to log in, and then we'll create it as a white-labeled dashboard that you can entirely brand up and then give your clients login access to.
Okay, wait a minute.
So, go ahead, Ann.
I'm wanting to understand this a little bit, because as an agency now, what I do when I use your white label reports and I put it in an email, anytime at all they can log in. They just click on that link and they can change the dates, and they're in my profile that says Primazon report. So you're saying that if I just want to be sure I'm understanding that we set it up as an agency and then we give them their own ability to log in and see.
Yeah, that's exactly what it will do. And then you can obviously configure their access so that it's locked down to their reports, so they can't see any of your other clients.
Do you have that now, or is that something you're building?
No, it's something, I know, it's something that we're building. It's something that we're building at the moment. So we're kind of introducing the concept of locations under clients next, and there's a bit of data reconfiguration. That's very, very boring back-end work, but absolutely critical to delivering the nice glossy front-end piece. Then we're doing the dashboard bit, which if I said to you, start of September, that's the kind of period that we're hoping to have that ready, and then we're doing the white label piece straight after that. So it's a kind of conveyor belt of updates that we'll be delivering. And we've got a kind of ring-fenced team in our development team that's looking at that, 3 people, and that's probably our number one flagship change that we're making this year. And then obviously we'll be adding in additional updates to various tools to make them better, more useful, and then more enhanced. So it's kind of we've kind of got a big project stream that's delivering this dashboard solution and the white label solution, and then we've got a smaller enhancement sort of project stream that's going to deliver smaller, more specific feature updates.
So first of all, that's awesome. So one thing, guys, if you haven't yet, if you want to quickly put your answer in the poll that we just submitted out there. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is when that occurs, my assumption is to help offset the cost of development to implement that. My assumption is that that's going to increase the cost of your services on some level. Is that going to cause you to need to change your price points to accommodate these additional features? And then if that is the case and you do a price increase, will existing customers be grandfathered in at whatever level price point?
We're not planning on raising our prices at this point in time. We're not, the dashboard, we're certainly not planning on raising our prices for that. If we have additional features that put significantly more impact on our systems and software, we might do. But we're certainly not factoring in a price increase at this point. One thing we might do is we might tweak down some of the volume of reports that you get. Some of them are kind of maxed out, and we might do that, but we're not looking at increasing the pricing. I mean, our view has always been to have the best software in the market at the best price. I mean, it's hard to be all things to all people, but that's kind of what we're gunning for. So it's certainly, we don't talk about price increases. If it happens, it will be something that we will look at very seriously, but it's certainly not something that's going to happen in 12 months. Within the next.
Very cool. So now that we're kind of addressing the pricing on that, if anybody who's watching this, whether this is live or on Memorex, for you old enough to know what Memorex is, or watching the recorded Page One engine presentation, what if someone wants to take advantage of the Bright Local resources as a system, how could they get started? What are the price points?
So everything comes with a free trial. So in that sense, any kind of package you can kind of log into, you can just test it all out for free for 30 days. There are 3 packages, 3 standard packages anyway. They're kind of called Single Business, which is $19.99 a month. Sorry, $19.99 a month. That's where you get a quite a limited set of reports. It's really kind of configured more or aimed more at kind of SMB business owners. For example, you can't white label your reports on that particular package, which obviously agencies want. Then the next you've got a multi-business package. That's $34.99 a month, so $34.99 a month. And there you get quite a high volume of reports. You get the white labeling as well. And then we have one called SEO Pro, which is $64.99 a month. And then you've got a huge volume of reports. You've got white labeling. You've got additional access to things like our APIs as well, if you're kind of sophisticated and you want to kind of make use of those. So it's $19.99 a month, up to $64.99 a month.
Awesome, and I see that you have a custom package profile here. Just curious to know if Miles is through me and Ann and pulling our resources together, and let's say that we could bring so many individual, like let's say we have like 20 of us who have all agencies. If we all came to you and said, hey, we'll all come in on like a package deal, is that something you guys are open to negotiating on, or is it just easier to everyone set themselves up as like their own individual accounts?
I mean, the custom package, the structure of it, sort of back end doesn't really work across sort of multiple accounts. You'd have to share an account then, which, as all agencies, there's going to be a little bit of competition amongst you. You probably don't want to be doing that. So it would be, you all come along, you set up your own account, and you're going to do it that way. And you also get a free trial for 30 days. You don't have to provide your kind of credit card information at that point. So there's no risk in giving it a go. I mean, again, we're even an agency. We tried out loads of tools before we kind of set out kind of building our own. We know that sometimes tools just aren't really what you want. They don't quite work the way you work. Everyone's got kind of different sort of models and ways of working. And we believe that we have to stand we have to win customers based on them liking the system and us doing a good enough job, A, with the software, and B, with the support, so they stay with us. So we don't do anything like kind of locking people in or making you give your credit card and hoping that you'll just forget about it and keep paying us. That's not our ethical position. We want to have the best tools at the best price that people genuinely want to use and are fully engaged with. That's our mission. So that's what we really sort of focus on. So we have a completely open free trial, no credit card information is required, and then if you want to stick with us, we've done a good enough job of convincing you, then you'll pay. And our job is then to kind of keep you paying by keep delivering cool new stuff and making the service work well.
Very cool. So basically, to recap for everyone, you're able to access Bright Local free for 30 days and basically take advantage to cruise through it, take advantage of anything that you like. And tell us a little bit about, one of the things and the reasons that we and Ann like using your system is the support. And I think that's a really important thing to touch upon. Can you share a little bit about your philosophy on support and what you guys have set up for support?
Yeah, so we're actually building out our support team as we also kind of build out the other teams. So we currently have pretty much round-the-clock email support. I think there's probably about 2 hours in the day when we don't do that Monday to Friday. Again, we're a B2B service, so it's we kind of operate within the Monday to Friday business days. We also have phone support. We're based in the UK, so we do kind of UK hours phone support, which takes you up to about 1 p.m. EST for those of you East Coast, which is about 10 a.m. sort of PST. So our phone support is available up until that point. And we also have workshops. So we also provide kind of live training like I've done today 3 times a week. It's a kind of 90-minute session. We usually limit the numbers of people on that to about 5 or 6 so that everyone gets some kind of one-to-one attention and specific questions can get answered. And our philosophy is really about having great software, great tools, and also kind of great support. We've recently doubled our support team from 3 up to 6, so we've got much better level of support now, much more kind of focus on ensuring that we deliver not just a fast response, but also a response that gives you the information that you need to kind of go ahead and use the service. Or if it's a general question about kind of SEO, we're also able to help answer a few questions around that as well.
Awesome. So gang, if whether you're again watching this live or as a part of the recorded training and Dory Friends Epic Page One engine product, I mean, I just don't see how, if you want to run a premium service and maybe that you're struggling to get past that 6-figure income barrier, guys, this is a tool that you need to have, kind of like Batman, right? Batman's an ordinary guy, but has just incredible, amazing skills and amazing technologies and resources that give him, Batman powers. And so this is the reason why we're sharing this with you guys, so that you're equipped to outclass the competition, right? And with all the training that we've given you and the secret tricks and rockstar hacks we've showed you, you're going to have the competitive edge. Because again, part of the reason we're sharing this with you is we believe that this is an industry-wide solution that more and more agencies are going to be adopting. So if you're not putting this in your toolbox, you run the risk of falling behind your competition. And so again, you want to be the best solution and resource possible. We talked about not even wanting to be an SEO expert, but being a marketing agency. You don't want to just be an SEOer, because then you can be relegated to a vendor and comparable to other SEO companies. We want you guys to be equipped to be unique. Now, I've got another, I'm going to put you on the spot again here, right? So I appreciate, because again, you said people are strange. So Miles, I'm going to put you on the spot once again and see what kind of performance and kind of song you can sing now, right? Maybe we'll even ask you to dance a little bit. I think that a free 30-day trial is pretty awesome, but I like to go out of our way to our members. We appreciate you, by the way. It's the CEO of an international enterprise that, guys, we're bringing here to this coaching program, right? Like, we're not just going and saying, hey, we got a sales rep from these different companies. We're bringing you guys the CEOs of major entities, busy, successful entrepreneurs, And so I always like to say, hey guys, what can I do to get you guys the best deal possible? So Miles, I want to put you a little bit on the spot here. You know, obviously this is affordable already. This is a no-brainer in my opinion. But I'm going to put you on the spot and ask, you know, is there any sort of thing you can do to sweeten the offer, make us a little bit better deal? And I do apologize for kind of putting you on the spot like this, so please don't feel like you're obligated to do so. But is there anything you can do for our purchasers, our subscribers, our students, any kind of special offer you can make for them today?
Okay. I think probably the most value that I can kind of give to you guys, particularly those of you kind of starting out, the more of a helping hand we can give to you to kind of get you started, the more chance you've got of becoming successful. And like I said, your success is our success. So 30 days is our standard free trial. We can offer you 60 days. So we'll take it from 30 days to 60 days, and we'll make that just for you guys. Now, we don't have like a sort of special link that we can give you to do that, because we don't actually offer that to anyone else. So what I'd probably say is for those people who are kind of watching this and who kind of sign up for Bright Local, is if you just email our support team, let them know that you heard about this offer on the training, on the webinar, or live, or you say you heard it direct from Miles' mouth that he was offering 60 days, then what we'll do is we will essentially kind of manually upgrade you in your account. So you sign up for 30 days, and you get that. You'd email us, let us know that you want us to activate the 60-day free trial, and we'll go and update you. So happy to do that. We'd do it on a kind of manual basis, because like I said, we don't actually offer that to anyone else. We haven't got kind of links that we can give you to utilize it. So just remember either to say where you're listening in from, or where you heard it from, or that my name is Miles and I promised it to you. Then we'll go ahead and we'll give you those 60 days. Is that all right?
All right, guys, so hold on a second. So I want to make sure that we clarify this, right? So if you're, again, live or watching this as a recording, we're going to give you access to a link where you can register, full income disclosure statement, all that stuff. Again, we are affiliates with Bright Local. However, if you want to join and still get that discounted price by not going through our affiliate link, please go ahead. But I would think that would be not cool, because we, again, got Miles here on the webinar live. I hope you guys would respect the time and energy, because I guess, Miles, we've been talking about doing this for about 2 months now, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Trying to get all this worked out and timing and scheduling all set up for you guys. And so hopefully you guys would honor that. So if you guys get it through, we'll send you, if you're here, a live band member, we'll send you a link that you guys can get registered. If you choose to do that, you're not obligated. And if you're watching this as a part of the Page One Engine product, we'll have a link that you guys can use below. That way it'll make it easier for Miles to authenticate that you guys are legitimately getting the 60-day bonus, because it's not fair to Miles for him to have to randomly go verify stuff and authenticate this, because it's not his job to say, hey, should you get a 30-day trial or a 60-day trial? Because honestly, if you're telling me you don't have a link established, Miles, then I completely 100% trust you that this is not a public offer. So, and he's not even sitting there saying, by the way, I would think that you would say only if you get like the SEO Pro account can you get the 60 days. So on any plan, they can get 60 days free. Is that correct?
Yeah, we don't discriminate. Like I said, we try and run a very fair and ethical sort of business. We want to help small businesses and big businesses. So we're certainly not going to. This isn't an upsell opportunity. This is just us saying, guys, come use our service. We're pretty cool. We'd like to support you, and you can judge us on our performance, and you've got 60 days to do that.
Awesome. So even if you're a solopreneur, maybe a one-location, one-man band type business, you still get the 60-day freeze if you're not viewing this for your own like local SEO or SEO company. And so basically what Miles is doing, he's giving you guys money, right, out of his pocket to actually get an extra 30 days free. So I'm definitely excited. Miles, I want to thank you so much for coming up here on the 2-hour mark. And there's a couple things that I wanted to go over with our band team. You're more than welcome to hang around and kind of view. If you guys have any questions, now's the time to answer. Get those questions answered. So type in the chat box if you have any particular questions. Carolyn says, Eric, you've got guts. And I'm guessing she's saying that because I put Miles on the spot. So I appreciate your generosity. Again, if you got to leave, I know it's Friday night over in England where you are. So if you can hang out, that would be cool, because I'm going to demonstrate some really cool software that we're going to be making public here in the next probably 30 to 60 days. But if you need to leave, Miles, I totally, completely understand.
Eric, it was all right by you. My wife is heavily pregnant, actually with our fourth child, and she's at home probably struggling with bedtime and bath, and cursing me for not helping out. Everyone on the call can appreciate how kind of stressful that can be. So I've had a great time. Thank you so much for inviting me to do it. Really enjoyed it. I hope I've given a good account of Bright Local, and you guys think it's going to be useful. I can see David's got a question actually coming in about when will Review Flow be available for Australia. David, probably in about a month, Review Flow will be in Australia, and then we're going to go to Canada after that. So yeah, not too far. We're rolling out pretty quickly on that front. But I'm going to head off because my wife is desperately needed my support. And before I get it really in the neck, I should go and help her out. But it's been great. I've really enjoyed it. Great to meet all of you, Anne included. And I know Anne and I are going to catch up on some emails after this. And Eric, no doubt, we'll catch up after you've had your kind of 4th of July break when you're back in next week. So I will leave you at this point. But thank you very much, everyone, for being patient, listening to me. I hope to see you on Bright Local very soon. Send us those emails for your 60-day trial, and we will honor them.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Have a great 4th of July.
Thank you for singing the Doors, man. Appreciate it.
All the best. All the best. Take care. Speak soon.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
All right, gang. So let's wrap this thing up, right? Did we just blow your mind? I hope the answer is yes, right? Hopefully you did, especially with the additional bonus. And again, thanks to Miles for being super cool and being put on the spot. That's not an easy situation to be in. So again, he's the English rock star, right? So we talked about the value of the service. You know, I probably got this a little bit out of whack, but what would you expect to invest in a service like this every month? I mean, really, to manage up to 100 locations for $65. What is that? $6? That's not even. That's like 60 cents a location. That's disgusting. I don't know. I mean, that's just the amazing part of software. It's so scalable, right?